Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Kamisha Superville, the CEO and founder of EBK Events. We are a mission focused event planning firm right here in New York City. We plan strategic events that are mission driven, that are purpose driven, and also very impactful for a company, for a brand, or an organization. Today, I wanted to share with you 9 tips on hosting a virtual event. 9 tips on hosting a successful virtual event. I hope that this helps you with your virtual events that you will be hosting. I hope that they bring value to you. And again, these are 9 tips that I've compiled to host a successful virtual event. As we all know, we are living in the age of COVID-19, and there are many events, there are many companies that has to pivot. And so how do you pivot as a brand? How do you pivot as a company? Well, immediately many large and medium-sized companies have been hosting virtual events online. Maybe you have been to a few webinars or a few online events or Zoom events, for example, and you will participate in as a participant or as a host. So I wanted to help out my community because that's what we do. We wanted to basically provide some insights into hosting events, events that we have hosted and what have helped us in the past, and hopefully that provides you with a little bit of vantage point when you host your next event. So I wrote my notes because I wanted to ensure that I provide you with the most updated adequate information. So I'm going to share with you, and I hope again it provides you with some type of benefit. So, the first one, when it comes to hosting a successful virtual event, you want to create a theme. So, as a business or as a brand, you definitely want to create a theme. Why are you hosting the event? What is the purpose of the event? Many times you may even encounter attending an event and you're lost or flabbergasted as to why am I here? What was the reason for this event? So you definitely want to start by what is the purpose of the event? What is the end goal? What are your goals? Is it to get more followers? For example, if you're using social media metrics, is it to get more followers? Or are you launching a product? Many times, companies within this phase that we are in are transitioning. So, are you one of those brands? Are you a company that is launching a product? Are you a marketing executive that is contemplating on launching a new idea to your overhead, your upper head management? What are you? Why are you launching this event? Why are you planning on hosting this particular virtual event? So those are some key things to remember in the back of your mind while you're planning on hosting your event. Another one would be also to my audience, and we'll definitely divulge into audience, but you also want to keep that in the back of your mind, or actually to the front. You want to make sure that you are hosting the event with your audience in mind. So it's not so much of why I'm doing this and why I think, but really and truly, how would this benefit, how would this equip or enhance my audience, right? That's exactly what you want to do while you're planning out the success of your virtual event. So we said first is create a theme. Create a theme, stick by the theme. Of course, you can phase it out. There are going to be maybe different ideas that you have, but definitely create one concise theme. And of course, then you build on that. Okay? Next thing is live. Is your event going to be live? Is it going to be on demand or playback? Right? So those are some things you have to keep in mind while you plan out your event. How are you going to host the virtual experience? As I said, is it going to be live? For example, Instagram Live. Is it going to be live stream? There are other apps that you can use. There are other programs that you can use for live streaming events. So, for example, like a conference or something virtually where there is maybe 500 or more attendees, or maybe 300 or more attendees. What is the reason, right? Like, how are you going to decipher or share that information to the audience, and again with the audience size, right? Or is it recorded? So are you going to use some recording platform? For example, GoToWebinar. If it's going to be a recorded event, or is it going to be live stream? So you definitely want to take that into consideration. All right, so that's live. If when it comes to hosting an event, is it live? Is it on demand? Is it recorded? Three. Three. Okay? Three. All right. So timing is very essential as a brand, as a business owner, as an entity. Even if you're a blogger, guys, and you just logged on, you just clicked on this link and you're like, well, I'm not really a company. I don't know. That's okay. Once you are hosting something where you have an audience or you want to capitalize on an audience or capture an audience, you definitely want to ensure that you're being time sensitive. When do you plan on hosting the event? What day? What time? Is it during business hours? Because many of us, as I mentioned earlier, is locked in, right? We have to stay at home. We are quarantined. And of course, this is globally. So many companies now and many employees are working from home. You don't want to host your event with the conflicting time of your attendees or your audience work schedule, right? You definitely want to do that. So you want to definitely take that into consideration while you're playing around with your theme. You want to take that into consideration. Okay? Okay. Also, the registration is registration required? So is your registration, is it required? Is it a requirement? How do you play to manage the attendees? So how do you plan on managing the attendees is a better word. How do you plan on managing your attendees? If it's registration that's required, how do you plan on managing and really navigating when that event is live or recorded, for example? And again, it's two different. But for example, if it is live, how do you plan on measuring and also managing your attendees and also their expectation? I like to put that note in there. All right. So access. Access is one way, you think about how do you plan on managing your attendee? Will your attendee have access to the info after the event? Are there any rewards for those who share your content with your audience? Right? So you think about that as well when it comes to timing. Will you have access to your attendee and will they be able to share? Is there some type of incentive to share the content that you're providing, the information that you're sharing? Is there ability for that? So you definitely want to be able to manage that and also incorporate that into your planning of your virtual experience, because this is an experience, honey. It's not an event. It's an experience, right? Okay, the fifth one is tech support. OMG, guys, this is so imperative. Many companies, many organizations, literally, you know what? I wouldn't say many organizations. A lot of smaller companies, small business owners, we don't have the luxury of having a tech team or a vast international team or whatever the case may be. And that's real, that's understanding. However, we have to act as we have the whole team behind us. We have to do that. So you want to make sure that you have a tech team. And if you don't have a designated personnel that's on deck you don't have a tech that's on deck, that's okay. Did you, as the event host, did you get familiarized with the platform that you'll be using? Did you take a few course before you launch that event? Right? You have to do your research, and whatever platform you choose, whether it's Zoom, whether it's GoToWebinar, whether it's any other application you use. Many times these companies, they have tech support, or they may have like a tutorial where you can get kind of immaculated with the system and the platform. So you definitely want to look into that. All right. So that's tech support. Let's see what else we have for you. Make sure I give you the goodies. Okay, and also too, in terms of tech support, being that you may or may not have a tech on deck, how are you measuring your event? How are you measuring the success or the effectiveness of your event? We are not out here just doing events to do events, correct, right? I'm not just doing this to just do this. I'm doing this to share information with you in hopes that you'll learn more about my company, more about what we do here, and if there's any way, synergies that we can work together, we welcome it. We welcome it, certainly. So I'm not just up here saying hi or trying to look cute. just to look cute. I do that on the regular. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. But the bottom line is you want to have some way of measuring the effectiveness of the event that you're hosting, right? So you want to have your KPIs. Definitely. You want to have your KPI. Those are your measuring metrics, right? You're tracking data. How are you tracking this? Again, a lot of the different applications that I mentioned earlier, they do have tracking mechanisms, some that's more enhanced than others. And so you want to make sure that you find the right platform for you. And of course, that's something that we can help you with. What is the right platform for you will be determined by your audience. Okay? Number 6, promote. Promote, promote, promote. You have to promote your event. How do you plan to get the info out to your demographic? Are you hiring support or working solo? Do you plan on getting sponsors or advertisers, right? How are you planning on getting or disseminating the information to your population, right? How do you plan on doing that? So you have to promote and you have to find out what metric works for you. You know your audience, and of course, you hire us. We also do consulting services as well. You can definitely get in touch with us and we can help you locate who your audience is or even find your brand and identity. That's something that we do as well. So we welcome those conversations. Number 7, time zones. OMG. I said it again. I'm going to say it again. Time zones. Guys, it's very imperative that you choose the best time zone to live stream your event, or even if you're recording it, but definitely if you're live streaming, because most people love things that are live, right? We like that interaction, that engagement. So you definitely want to be able to, if you are planning, my suggestion would definitely be, as much as possible, make it live, make it interactive, make it organic. We are already separated from each other, especially under this climate of COVID-19. So you want to make something live, engage, and you feed off of your audience energy as well. I hope that makes sense. But nonetheless, time zones. So, for example, you might have clients or viewers that want to tap into your information, but they live in another country, totally different time zone, right? You want to be able to communicate. You as the event host, right? You're setting up this event. You figured out your theme, right? You went through all the different mechanisms earlier, and so you want to be able to communicate ahead of time within your setting up to your global audience that this is going to happen on this time. And even if they cannot log on at that time, what follow-up detail can you provide that they can log on, that they can still capture the information? So that's something that you want to think about. Again, we can definitely help you with that. For example, as I mentioned, a way of communicating that the event can be accessed via your website. So you can drive your audience, you can drive your that global community that you have developed, right? You can drive them to your website, as even if they miss the live, they can click on a link, a hyperlink on your website, and they will have access to the recording. You definitely want to keep in the back of your mind, time zones and also clients that are globally as well. Okay, so that's number 7. All right. I wanted to also provide a note at this particular junction regarding tech support. Make sure, even if you don't have a tech on deck, ensure that you send a tutorial, which is like a tutorial link to your audience. This, guys, is so crucial, and I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, just repeat it. In terms of tech support, so this is just a little footnote. In terms of tech support, even if you don't have a tech on deck, what you want to ensure as an event host, you want to ensure that the audience, your registrants, your attendees, those people that have to look at your information and, and follow through, you want to make sure that they are immaculated with the system that you're choosing. So whatever system you decide on using, you want to make sure that they understand, that they comprehend, that they really capture that platform and they can navigate it ahead of time. So there's a lot of information, there's a lot of different programs and platforms out there. And of course, YouTube, like we are all on, you can definitely send them a link and allow them to get the information on their own. And you want to send them an email maybe a week before, and maybe 3 days prior to the event, and then 1 day before the event. So you want to send 1 week in advance, then 3 days before the event, and then 1 day before the event. At that point, it's their responsibility to log on and to be an active participant in all the awesomeness that you'll be providing. All right, guys. So, number 8, encourage engagement. So this is super huge. I've hosted a few online events recently, and I was super, like you guys can see, I was super intentional in activating engagement and ensuring that I had really cute polls, very diverse polls. And I shouldn't say the word cute. My polls were very diverse. They were very entertaining and also very applicable for my audience, if that makes sense. So you definitely want to engage your audience with quizzes, with polls, with incentives, whatever you have in your gift box, right? Whatever you have, you definitely want to incent that. You don't do it all at once. Definitely don't do that. But you take your time. And again, it will be by your audience. You know, you understand your audience, so you know what type of incentives they'll like. But you definitely want to engage. All right? And number 9, lucky number 9. And this is it, guys. This is it. Inclusivity. That is major. You have to be inclusive with your branding, with your messaging. No one likes to be on any type of anything online. What is a virtual event? It's a hangout, and it's only one voice, right? I mean, take for example, you don't want to hear me talk for the next hour and a half. I know you might. But I don't want to hear myself. No, absolutely not. You want to have diverse voices a part of the conversation, a part of that virtual experience, right? So, for example, if you're in a boardroom and you have your upper management speaking, you're not just going to have all the men speak. You want to have the female managers, the female supervisors, and even if you don't have a female at the top, right? Because there's still some organization that are still kind of old school in their methodology, right? So even if you do, you want to be able to select a staff, a workforce that's diverse, so you can hear different voices. And also too, for example, another example would be if you're in the same industry and the industry that you're in, you're having a meeting, an online meeting for your community. You want to be able to get different managers or supervisors from different job titles, if that makes sense. That's really deep. So think about that. But again, guys, it's inclusivity. It's about being present and really thinking about your audience. So that's it. These are my tips that you can use to have a successful event. Create a theme. Live, if the event is going to be live, on demand, or recorded. Access, tech support. Time zones, how are you going to promote the event, right? Encourage engagement and inclusivity. These are amazing tips, guys. I have wrote them. I studied them. I hope they provide you with insight. Definitely, if you would like to learn more about EBK events, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Kamisha Superville. I am the founder and CEO of EBK Events. This beautiful background you see here, this is our company. Nonetheless, if you'd like to know more about us and what we do here in New York City and how we can help your business grow, please contact us. Click the link below and I'll see you on the opposite side or the next side. But I'll see you. Guys, be safe out there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Okay? Awesome, guys. Have a great day. Happy, successful event. Good luck to you.